serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is The Man Who Ate the Town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 121 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of August the 5th through 11th, 2019. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. Scare me to death.
You should have seen his expression.
We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town at the Lab at Industry Hill. It is a repurposed building on North Chestnut Street in the old warehouse district of downtown. Industry Hill itself hosts a lot of cool things like restaurants, chocolatiers, breweries, entertainment complex, and us.
And you know, one other thing that's in the building that you forgot to mention.
What?
The rusty recipe box.
The recipe box. The recipe box. Recipes.
Recipe box.
Find out more by visiting industryhill.com or follow them on Facebook or Instagram. So, as I alluded to last week, the former Hutch and Harris spot is being taken over.
By?
I said it was someone who owns a restaurant and also a bar, actually two.
One and two, yes.
That person happens to be Chef Adam Andrews. The name of the establishment will be Young Cardinal Cafe, and it will serve American food.
American? Here in the South? Oh, my God.
Can you believe it's going to be American food? Oh, my God. We don't get enough of that.
For the three people out there who don't know who Chef Adam is, would you tell them who
he used to be executive chef at Old 4th Street filling station. He is partner, owner, and chef at Jeffrey Adams, and he owns Dogwood, Hops and Crops, and the Trophy Room.
There you go.
So, yes.
Very good. You passed.
Thank you.
So this will be yet one more property that he's involved in with downtown.
That's right. And it will offer lunch and dinner and full brunch on Sundays and Saturdays. According to Chef Adam.
Yeah, I like that.
According to Chef Adam, it will be open until 2:30 a.m. on Friday and Saturday.
Oh.
To give the bar goers another late night option for food. I don't like the use of another.
Well, we mentioned earlier in the pregame that, yeah, we've had friends here in town creating some ruckus about businesses not being open past 10 o'clock. And with the National Black Theater Festival being in town, I mean, the pictures I'm seeing of downtown at midnight, which, you know, I'm asleep, truthfully, most nights. By midnight, I'm passed out. But the place was crowded. I mean, it looked like the middle of the afternoon with all these folks. So to hear that Chef Adam is thinking ahead and saying, you know what, there is a market that needs to be served, and I'm going to address that.
Well, the late night option for food will be breakfast food. So, you know,
hey, I'm great with breakfast. Now, let's be fair. Breakfast food, when Chef Adam is speaking, is not Waffle House.
No.
I know you love Waffle House, but the culinary level of Waffle House is a little further down than what Chef Adam would probably ever do.
Yeah. This is more along the lines of what Mary used to do when she was open till 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, that last part I'm really into, the being open on weekends. I, along with many folks, have been begging for places downtown to be open to follow up bar times. And I'm not talking about the existing restaurants that may not have those hours, may not want those hours, may not be capable of doing those hours. I'm talking about restaurants that are designed for this. New ones. Yes, Finnegan's Wake is open late, but if you don't want what they have, what else do you have? You have Foothills open until midnight, but really their bar fare is very similar to Finnegan's.
Right.
O'Brien's Deli was downtown on 4th and chose not to be open past 7 p.m. That would have been a perfect place on Fridays and Saturdays to be open to at least midnight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Twin City Slice closed at 9. How about a Friday and Saturday night we have a restaurant that is open to 3 a.m.? On those days, Burke Street Pizza is open to 3 a.m., yes. Mm-hmm. But they only do slices at that time, and I understand that. But what if somebody wanted a full pie?
Why wouldn't you do that for them?
I mean, I understand the time restraint and, you know, making something that may not, it takes time. And these people come in, they just expect something to be thrown at them and let's eat. Okay, I get
Well,
that.
they're drunk and belligerent.
Right.
I need something to eat.
But we are in need of a post-bar friendly restaurant.
Yeah.
Also of note, Adam is only taking the dining room side. The sidebar is still empty, not counting any special pop-ups for special events.
So there's another space that could.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tag onto what you said, O'Brien and Slice Up?
The Twin City Slice.
Twin City Slice. I kind of think of their name. Senior moment. Didn't stay open late. Neither one of them survived.
Both for different reasons, but I think some relief to costs and all that stuff could have been offset by the profit they could have made by staying open just 2 nights a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I'm not talking about, because what we allude to, I'm not going to mention any names, but Mellow Mushroom was the center of this, and you know what? Mellow's not made for that. I understand it. Let them be. But when you have on a Tuesday night 40 people being turned away at 10 o'clock at Mellow Mushroom,
Ow.
again, they may have not been prepared for that. That's okay.
Well, the National Black Theater Festival, it was a surprise event. There was only like 36 hours notice that they were coming to town.
Yeah.
So they didn't have time to prepare or even think ahead to go, oh, gosh, that brings tens of thousands of people to downtown. Gosh, maybe we should be ready for them, because I mean, we live in a capitalistic society, right?
Yeah.
So opportunity is standing outside your front door with cash in hand going, can I eat here? How do you answer that?
I would probably say, yes, come on in.
See, but you think like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong with like I said, the restaurants that are there right now, I understand. They've been through this. This is not their first rodeo. The Black Theater Festival comes around every 2 years. They may have tried it in the past and it just didn't work. Whatever reason there. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about every weekend. On the weekends, not Tuesday nights like this was talked about. On weekends, there should be a spot. I'm not even talking just Fridays and Saturdays. I think Thursdays should be accounted there too, because Wake Forest, unless you're a freshman, there are no classes on Fridays.
Right.
So Thursday night is their Friday night.
Yeah.
So
Actually, given my own personal experience living across the street from several of the Wake Forest fraternities and sororities, Wednesday night is the beginning of the party season each week.
right,
And runs through Sunday.
right. But the restaurants aren't going to be open on a Wednesday night. I understand that. And
But
probably
Thursday
not
nights.
Thursday night, but Fridays and Saturdays should be at least to midnight. Not closing
Exactly.
down at 10 o'clock.
Well, the bars are going to stay open until at least 2, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, yeah, be there as an outlet for folks, because they're going to want something to eat.
Yeah.
And, that's actually being responsible.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the choir is singing this one together.
Yeah, and we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, and nothing's going to change until a restaurant comes in that does that. Will Young Cardinal Cafe be that restaurant? It sounds like they're going to at least give it the old college try.
And I'm glad to hear it. And knowing the quality of everything that Chef Adam has brought to downtown before, I'm really excited that he's the one taking that spot.
Indeed. All right, so Irie Rhythms in the Silas Creek Crossing Shopping Center is now going to be known as Sea Breeze Island Cuisine.
Okay.
It's the same family.
A little rebranding, actually.
Georgine Moore, the former owner, has turned over control to her daughter, Brianna Mahario. Most of the menu will stay the same. In a journal article, Brianna says that a few additions will happen, like a Cuban sandwich, which is a reflection of her Cuban great-grandparents. Other new items include a Hawaiian barbecue chicken featuring a sweet and tangy sauce and pineapples. And there will be a Rasta pasta, which is her take on fettuccine alfredo, to which diners could add broccoli, jerk shrimp, or chicken. According to the article, she states, I also want to do a few items from the different Caribbean islands. Each month, I want to feature a different island. And next month, she says it will be Trinidad.
Oh.
So
I wonder what kind of cuisine is traditional for Trinidad.
I do not know.
She should come in here and educate us.
She should. I need to reach out and have her come in to do that.
And she needs to bring samples of said food so we can be educated with her.
This is so true too.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
All right, so now it will be called Seabreeze Island Cuisine, not Irie Rhythms, which for most people they can pronounce Seabreeze Island Cuisine.
Yes.
And know what all those words mean. Irie Rhythms, nobody knew. For whatever reason. If you look at it, it's Irie Rhythms.
Yeah.
According to WCNC NBC out of Charlotte, there is a bill in the North Carolina General Assembly that would allow private retailers to sell liquor in North Carolina.
What?
That would do away with the stupid ABC stores, and you could get your liquor at Walmart or wherever you get your beer and wine.
Like you can anywhere else.
Anywhere else. It seems to be getting some push, but I don't know how far it'll go. I've been talking a lot about how the states need to get out of the liquor business.
Yes.
The state should spend more time taking care of its residents and less about the antiquated liquor laws. When I was doing Sipping NC with Jordan Kuiper, whose family owns a restaurant here who can't say anything, I can. I have no dog in this fight.
No.
I have no horse in this show. So,
But you got friends in this industry who are being hurt by it.
I do. And, you know, people in Charlotte especially will go to South Carolina to buy liquor because it's cheaper there, because it's privatized.
Yeah.
Whereas
And there's
here,
competition.
yes,
And you can actually run a sale.
yeah. I was constantly on Sipping NC lamenting being under the thumbs of the state government, and it's time to let it go, folks. Let's privatize the liquor industry in this state. I'm not for not controlling the liquor. There should still be ABC control, alcoholic beverage control.
Right.
But they do not have to sell it.
No.
Or
Get
get people
tax
who
it
are,
at the crazy rates that they're taxing.
you should give people license. They should have to pay for it. And then what it says in this article is about $1,000 to $1,500 for a yearly license to be able to sell it.
And that's a reasonable amount.
Yeah, and the tax situation would work its way out and a whole bunch of stuff. But
Well, and then retailers. You know, I remember talking with Danielle Bull about some whiskeys that she really wanted to feature. She said, I'm not allowed to buy them because they're not available in our region. If I lived in Raleigh, if I had a bar in Raleigh, I could sell it, but we can't have it here. I'm like, is it really good? She's like, yeah, that's why I want it. So we're being denied just basic access
Because
to what's in the market already.
the ABC in each district, and we are in the Forsyth district, but there are some that encompasses 2 or 3 counties. They decide what they will buy to bring in,
Yeah.
and if they don't have it, you can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not
you
like
can't
beer.
buy it. It's like you can pick another distributor.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't. You know, the Budweiser rep is not selling
Yeah.
Wiseman beer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can go to Wiseman and buy it.
Yeah, Behringer's not selling the same stuff as Tryon Beverage, as American Premium, as all these places. It's they can okay. Well, I'll get this from this distributor.
Yeah.
This is all they have to go pick it up. They have to pay in cash. So you have these bar people, and the people in the public know that they're only accepting cash, so they are waiting there. And, you know, your chances of being robbed are increased. Stop it.
Yeah.
Get out of the liquor business already.
Well, I grew up primarily in East Tennessee, and that's what we had in East Tennessee. There was an ABC board
Yeah.
that's overseeing the liquor stores and making sure that they were playing by the right rules.
Yeah.
But, you know, on your drive home, you'd pass, you know, half a dozen or more different liquor stores, and you see, oh, this one's got a sale this week, and that one's got a sale coming up next week. You've got some competition going on, but it was also convenient. they were on my road. Or, shoot, just, I'm going to the grocery store. Oh, well, let me pick up a bottle of Jack Daniels to go with dinner. Well, no, you can't do that. Anywhere else you could.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm ready for that to change.
Dark ages are done. Let's get out of it.
Yeah.
I was going to touch on the downtown grocery store topic, but that's really a non-issue right now. Not that we don't feel we need a downtown grocery store, but it is not happening right now. And whoever started the latest false rumor that it's going to happen, and that that prompted a response from the Winston-Salem Journal to squelch the rumors, just knock that crap off. So let's just say that we think we need it, we think we want it, but for right now, we're not getting it. That's it.
Well, we have a place downtown that's not quite a grocery store, but it's more than a convenience store.
That's true.
And that'd be a good place to go.
That's the best place to go, but there are a couple other places in town that do that. Do I think we'll eventually get one? Absolutely. But this is not happening right now. Because whoever started that rumor that I'm so glad that it's going to happen also said it's going to be Harris Teeter. And if it's going to be anybody, it's probably going to be Lowe's.
Yeah.
Because Lowe's is based here.
Well,
in Winston-Salem.
So you crushing some dreams there, Tim, by telling us honestly. Now, I'm guessing you did hear about the helicopter bungee jumping business that's going to be based off the top of the GMAC building downtown, and that's coming here within the next couple months.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're excited about helicopter bungee jumping downtown. More details to come. It's maybe just as crazy as the idea that to put a good grocery downtown, you're going to need some space.
Yeah.
And, nobody's looking at developing that kind of a space.
No. And if they do, they're going to have to do one of those really in-depth, several floors down parking decks because there's not a parking lot for this stuff. There's plenty of parking downtown, as we'll hear in just a little bit, but not for that. Now, I understand parking for just general stuff, but for grocery store, you need immediate, because you're wheeling this stuff out. They're not going to want their shopping carts down the street, So,
but realistically, it's not that far to a grocery store if you're downtown.
Right.
You've got multiple grocery store options over near Baptist Hospital. You've got the Publix there. You've got Whole Foods there.
Harris Teeter there.
Harris Teeter. Two Harris Teeters. One over at Three-Way, one over at the shopping center there across from Baptist. Cloverdale. Wow, that wouldn't come to mind either. It sucks getting old, man, I'm telling you. Drive just a little bit down Peters Creek. There's groceries available there. It's not like it's a complete food oasis.
No. Or desert.
Desert.
Yeah.
That's the
food
word
oasis is that.
Well, it is actually a pretty good oasis for just eating.
Yeah.
But getting groceries, no.
Yeah.
But, truthfully, I've never been there. But if you walk down Bourbon Street, how many grocery stores are there?
No, I don't know.
I bet there's probably not many.
Probably not. Probably just little convenience-like stores like Washington Park and the 2 or 3 other ones that are downtown that I don't even know the names of, but they're there.
Well, they're not. They're the Park.
That's right.
There is only one.
That's the only one you really need?
Yeah. And the Park and Provision Company. We want to make sure that we say that whole name because it's so beautiful.
Washington Park and Provision.
Yeah. Great place to go.
The hot dog tasting trolley tour is on hold.
Oh, crap.
Randy, the driver, host of the tour, has a family emergency that he needs to take care of. Oh. There will be a rescheduling happening soon. We will talk more about it when we know more about it.
We will pass on details.
When the time comes, though, the MAN5 discount code will still be in effect.
Oh, way to negotiate
that,
for our listeners.
That's right.
Awesome.
We take care of our folk.
We do.
The Summer of Burgers tour update. I had none this week.
What?
Well, I had a burger, but it was not counted on this thing. So,
did that come from
Zesto?
Okay.
Yeah, it came from Zesto, but
Yeah.
I'm saving Zesto to be my last official one. So I have been talking with our friend.
Is that a clue? Is that a little teasing clue that you left there?
Not really. I was just saying that's the last one that I'm counting on the tour.
Well, they say you save the best for last.
Well, I think it's no mystery that I think that Zesto is my favorite place to eat a burger. So I don't know that that's my favorite burger, but yes, it is my favorite place to eat it. But that doesn't mean that they're going to get even in the top 10 on the burger list. Not saying it's not, but it's not saying that it is.
I keep trying to tease an answer out of you.
Yeah,
You're very good at sidestepping
There
that.
is no answer to be given, my friend.
Ah.
I'm just saying that because I have always built that up since I've started eating there, I'm going to let that be the last entry. Wherever it ends up in the list, I still don't know. I mean, even after the list is done, as far as all the stuff compiled, I've got to compile the results. So
True.
that doesn't mean that even it's not like the day after Labor Day you're going to know my top 10. But
Oh, I expect to know after Labor Day. You've been teasing this a while. I want to know.
Because I might not know.
My guess is that if anybody has a sense about which ones are at the top of the list, it'd be you.
Yes, it would be.
It would be.
It would be.
I don't know. Maybe even the BCPF wouldn't know.
She doesn't know.
She's even being kept in the dark.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I have a spreadsheet that I keep all this information on.
And I bet it's password locked
It is.
and encrypted
It is.
in a vault
Yes.
with lasers and a security guy from Men in Black standing out front with a blaster.
No one's getting to it.
Okay.
No one's getting to it. All right, guys, this is the section we call Getting in Your Business. And today with us we have Nick and Cole from Linville Team Partners and Stuart from from Lambert Architecture. And we're going to talk today about the Sentinel Commons, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Right.
Correct.
So tell us I've mentioned it in the past, but tell us what is Sentinel Commons.
So the Sentinel Commons is the reconception of the former and current Winston-Salem Journal property.
Okay.
The building that occupies that space between Spruce, 5th, and Marshall Streets is overall about 127,000 square feet. And obviously has been home to the Winston-Salem Journal since 1927. And in its current iteration and with the newspaper printing off-site, the Journal occupies only a fraction of that footprint. Of that total, they occupy about 16,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So the investors who bought the building wanted to try to find out a really creative reuse of the property. It's not like a typical office building. It's set up really as a manufacturing facility, a heavy-duty manufacturing facility.
Because of the printing.
Correct. The newspaper was printed there up until, I believe it was the late 90s, actually.
Yeah.
And it moved to the new printing plant at that time, on Fifth Street.
Well, here's a little fun fact for you. My family owned White Oak Transport at the time, and I personally moved from where that spot is now, where the Thunderbird Drive, or not Thunderbird, but it was a drive-in, Flamingo Drive-In, to the spot across the street where they've built stuff down in that hole. I personally moved probably 10,000 loads of dirt in a dump truck. Wow. So, yeah.
Very cool.
We called it the Dust Bowl because it was through the two of the driest summers we had ever had. And the truck that I had did not have air conditioning or a radio, so we were windows down. And I was only 17. I wasn't even old enough to drive these trucks.
Technically.
But it
Those
was
were the good
really
old days.
it was really just taking it and going across Fifth Street there onto whatever the cross street is into a driveway. So it was only about 30 yards at the most that I was on concrete, and I was on dirt the rest of the time. But that's neither here nor there. I was just saying that little fun fact was I moved that damn dirt.
We won't tell OSHA.
It doesn't matter now.
Yeah. It's all in the
Statute of
past.
limitation, I'm pretty sure, is 30 years away. So, so continue. I'm sorry.
No, but so obviously the building doesn't lend itself to sort of what you would call typical uses of retail or office building. So it really is going to take some creativity, and so the what we're calling the press level of the building sits down from the street only about 8 feet. And so, but it has ceiling heights that range between 20 feet up to 30 feet tall,
Wow.
because it used to accommodate the printing press.
Sure.
And so we started looking at it, and we figured out ways to create entry off Fifth Street. So we're going to create a new entrance, pedestrian entrance off Fifth Street, and then another one through the courtyard off Marshall Street, which will be totally redesigned to be an outdoor beer garden entertainment center to support the overall complex.
Is that where the fountain is now?
That's where the empty fountain
Yeah.
currently is.
Yeah.
Where it used to be bright. And
I always
cheerful.
thought it was funny that, when they forgot to turn it off in the winter months and it would freeze into a ball.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah,
That's maybe why it doesn't work anymore.
it probably is. Yeah.
We've had something to do.
And I'll chime in a little bit too about like the big picture. So I think when Stuart Parks and Arden Group bought this, the intent was, how do we take this really, really well located, architecturally interesting piece of real estate that's wedged between the Stevens Center, the hotels, the convention center. I mean, really kind of
It's
a
right
part
at
of
the heart.
town that needs some sort of catalyst, something interesting, a draw for people. How do we take this and kind of reposition the property so that it's interesting to retailers, knowing that the
contributes
drivers
to
were going
what's
to be
there too.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we've had such a thriving community downtown.
Yeah. So, you have like Winston Junction, you have Innovation Quarter. There's a ton of really great, interesting, exciting stuff going on in West End. You have the former GMAC building next to this that Don Flo has, completely redeveloped. So this seemed like a really, really great opportunity to try to bring one of these cool, interesting concepts to Winston, like a food hall or like some sort of interactive, engaging, immersive type, like art museum type places, or a bowling alley downtown. Like there's a list of probably 20 retailers that the second you step foot into that basement, you're like, yeah, once we have the two access points that kind of open this up to the street level, all of a sudden this becomes a really cool, interesting space that somebody can, really make something interesting happen in.
So what it sounds like to me, and I said this on this podcast a few weeks back, that reminds me of Faneuil Hall in Boston. If any of you have ever been there, it's in the Quincy Market, Faneuil Hall, all that stuff, and you go in and it's stores after restaurants, after sporting good places, after more restaurants, after all this just going down, and it's like a food court, but it's just a long building that's been there since the 1700s or longer, that they have turned into this retail mall, this food mall type thing that had the other things in it.
Right, that's correct. And I think it, in this case, it'll probably be a much smaller version of that.
Yeah.
But the idea is, the whole idea of a food hall is, versus a food court, is that food halls are typically hyper local. So you really want to draw on your local talent, your culinary talent locally. They are also very well curated. So you don't have 3 burger places. There's one burger place, there's one dumpling place, there's one cupcake place. And so that you're really paying attention to the mix of businesses that are in that.
Yeah.
And then usually, sprinkle in some retail. Retail has been hard in the past few years, especially downtown. But I think that the rise of, the really well crafted things that are made by local people, that are, have grown beyond the Trade Street corridor and the arts, to include those things that are really well chosen and positioned, can be part of this. And so the idea is to also give a space for startups, so that the other aspect of a food hall is the landlord provides the basic infrastructure, and really the vendor that comes in is layering on their personalization to do what they do really well.
So it's an affordable option here, because I know a lot of startups, especially in this town, they have big aspirations but little bitty wallets, and getting started with that sometimes is the hardest part. If they can get themselves growing, then that would be easier for them to be able to pay the upper lease amounts.
Yeah, I mean, your average restaurateur is going to be out $600,000 opening up a location with uncertainty as to whether or not they're going to succeed.
Yeah.
The appeal of a food hall is that you can be in a stall for maybe under $50,000 all in theory. I mean, I'm just throwing numbers out. And you have a way to kind of just test the market and test your concept with relatively low stakes. So that's definitely what we want to encourage for this location. There's a co-working component to the building that we're working on as well, which I think will be a really nice complement. I think the way this project really succeeds is almost as if it's like a tourist attraction, for lack of a better word. And then, we have some office so Arden Group is moving in here with Arden, Communities, having a showroom presence in their offices here. And then GemCap Construction is also coming to the building, as well as Winston-Salem Festival Ballet. So there's a lot of cool, interesting, exciting stuff that are going to breathe some life into the building.
And Lambert Architecture has their offices on the third floor.
Least of all, which is Lambert Architecture, which their offices are absolutely stunning, really cool. How would you describe like that hardwood floor? It's like turned up, right? It's
the original in-grain wood floor. So we're on the third floor of the 1927 building, and we found, once we did a lot of excavation and archaeology, really almost in that building.
You found Jimmy Hoffa.
Well, almost. We could have. But the floor we're on was where all the linotype machines were, and so those machines made a tremendous amount of vibration. And so they were on about a 3-inch thick in-grain wood floor, which we uncovered, and it was in really pretty good condition, and really just had to give it a really good refinishing to bring it back to life. So it's been fun.
Yeah.
We also found, covered up under about 2 levels of ceilings and mechanical systems, the original light monitors, north-facing sawtooth light monitors. So we have one of those in our space. So it's just been fun to kind of be a part of this, really from the beginning of this transformation.
Well, and Lambert's been involved with a lot of the signature projects in the area.
Well, it's we tend to get involved in those things that aren't easy and that take a long time.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
And so y'all earned a really good reputation.
Thank you.
I'm excited by the drawings that I'm seeing that y'all provided. This is the entrance off of Marshall?
That's correct. That's the re-envisioned courtyard.
So y'all are really going to have to tear out a lot in the front and dig down to get down to street level.
Correct. Besides the fountain that you mentioned, currently basically what is in that courtyard is this massive handicap ramp. And we're figuring out other ways to create accessible entry into the building, which are going to allow us to remove that handicap ramp. At the back of that, what you're seeing is that is a giant window, and it's there currently. We're going to open it up and make it bigger, but it'll be a 2-story window into what was formerly the press hall. And a lot of people remember, it's been recounted to me because it was before my time in Winston, but in the sort of 1950s addition to the building that the 1980s addition subsequently subsumed, there was a way that you could walk up from the outside and look in and look down on the press and watch the newspaper being printed at night. And a lot of old timers remember that really fondly.
When there was evening news, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
well, they were
exactly.
printing the morning paper.
Oh, gotcha.
For the next day. So it's really kind of almost recreating that, where but not only will you be able to walk up and look in and look down on the press level and see all this activity that's going on, you'll be able to enter there and go down a short flight of stairs that'll take you down to that.
Cole was looking at me like I was crazy. They used to print newspapers in the evening as well.
The evening edition.
Well aware.
Morning edition,
Yeah.
The
evening
Sentinel,
edition, yeah.
the Sentinel, and that's where the name comes from. It was the Winston-Salem Journal and Sentinel. The Journal was the morning paper, or is the morning paper. The Sentinel was the afternoon paper.
Which is where WSJS gets their call
That
letters
is
from,
correct.
Winston-Salem Journal Sentinel.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they were all owned by the same company to start with.
And so was Channel 12.
Yeah.
And I know the visuals might not travel well over podcasts, so the website is sentinelcommons.com, and all of these renderings that we're referencing are on the website, including an interior rendering from inside the press level, kind of showing the 2 different access points and what that press level could look like.
Yeah, the renderings of the food hall and market, I mean, it's just beautiful. Obviously, you're taking what's now a very dark space into something that's completely transformed. And this would be an asset to downtown Winston-Salem. This would make a huge difference in our community.
So here's a big question. I'm sure you've heard it, and you're going to continue to hear it as time goes on. The parking deck there across the street can't handle even the Stevens Center. So where are people going to park for this?
We're working on it.
Yeah, because I know,
We're hard at work
because
on figuring out how to bring Winston-Salem into 21st century parking expectations.
Yeah, because Lord knows that parking lot, the Cherry Marshall,
It is
tricky at the slowest of times.
Yes.
And people are not going to go to that. So I'm so glad to hear that you're working on it.
Would it,
Well,
I mean, is
and
it
I think we've had a really good example just this past week with the National Black Theater Festival in town. They were saying 60,000 visitors to town,
Yeah.
and it was busy. Anyone that was out there saw it. The streets were busy. There was parking all down Spruce Street and on down, past Crystal Towers.
Yeah.
But that's a city. That's what Winston wants to be. We want
Yeah.
to see that activity not just on 4th Street. You can see that kind of any given night. 4th Street's busy, but everything else can still be a little sleepy.
Yeah.
So I think it's just getting folks used to it.
I think that is the biggest, that has been the biggest obstacle. Because if you go to and I'm sure you guys do, go to the downtown Winston-Salem Facebook page, people are, well, we need grocery store, we need more parking. We need grocery store, we need more parking. We need a grocery store, we need
Maybe
more
more
parking. And what do you think we need?
More parking?
and a place to buy food would be nice. But now, realistically, if you look for where Sentinel Commons is going to be, there's parking across the street. First Baptist has got parking. AT&T's got parking. Can we not get these folks to open that up? Can we set up some sort of arrangement with them that we're using that?
I think it's a catch-22. Like once we have a use that demands the parking will open up. I mean, because we don't have a leg to stand on yet in terms of holding our hands out asking for it if we don't even have the people to fill the stalls yet.
And
Yeah,
I
true.
think some of that's already happening. We were having a conversation with folks at Stevens Center because we want to work with all of our neighbors around us, and they were saying that they'd had a lot of success. You mentioned the parking deck across Marshall Street and that filling up by the Stevens Center. They said they'd actually had more success now. They're using the what's known as the chamber deck, but that Don Flo owns as part of his building. They've had more success directing people to that. It's only a block away, and that's helped take some of the pressure off. Solely focusing on that one deck that's got, both the hotels, the Nissen building, lots of demands being placed on that deck. But I will still say, any given day, if I go to an aerial photograph of downtown Winston-Salem and look at it, every parking deck, the top level is not filled.
Right. Oh, I agree. I'm with you.
There's room.
Again, I'm totally with you. It's just
Well, and I've used the
Camel
chamber deck
Citizens
that you're
are a little
talking
bit
about
wound
when
up.
there has been a lot going on. I remember at Christmas going down and, oh crap, we picked the wrong night. It's Nutcracker night. So everything was full, but we went down there. No problem
even
parking.
like the convention center deck on Cherry, like in any other city, that's not an unreasonable amount of distance to travel on foot.
2 blocks?
Yeah.
2 blocks. I mean, seriously, you're right. It's not like it's 2 miles.
Right.
Yeah.
And most folks, once they get out and start walking, will walk several blocks to begin with. So, yeah, it's
Well,
not
and
asking
these are the
much.
same people that would go to the mall at Christmas time and park over, in the farthest regions and walk from there all the way to the other end of the mall. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really a non-issue that they create an issue of. I mean, it's a fabricated issue, but it's still an issue. That's why I just had to bring that up.
This podcast is sponsored by Fitbit. Get your 10,000 steps.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I wish it was sponsored by Fitbit.
I do too. That'd be great.
We're all advocating walking.
Yeah,
Maybe
we are.
longer distances.
Well, I mean,
I
it's
mean,
not
go
asking
to
much.
Chicago. If you live in the city, unless you're going somewhere, you probably have your car just in a deck somewhere far away, and just walk or take the train or any of that stuff.
Well, and when you hear people say, I went to such and such city, and I went to New Orleans, did you just sit in the car, or did you get out and walk Bourbon Street? Did you walk Beale? I mean, that's what you do. You get out and you experience the city.
I do think that one of the things that Winston needs to do
Grow
is-
up.
Well, I think it's a more concerted effort. And I know there have been lots of discussions by the Chamber and Downtown Winston-Salem partnership, but really getting some cooperation among those that provide parking to, whether it's an app or, we go to Asheville a lot. Every single parking deck in Asheville has a digital readout on it that tells me how much it costs, how many spaces are occupied, and how many spaces are available in that deck. And it's very easy to see, oh, there's only 7 more spaces. I better get while the getting's good here and go ahead and park, because it might be full the next time I go around the block. And so it's a very user-friendly way. Because if I park on the street in Asheville, it's going to be expensive because they make their street parking cost what street parking should. That's a different conversation, but that's also a way to encourage people to park in decks. Our street parking is so cheap that nobody wants to park in a deck. They just want to plug the meter. So
Yeah, for
And
a
after
quarter,
6 o'clock,
50 cents.
after 6 o'clock during the week and free on the weekends, there's no charge then.
right.
So
Yeah, we're a little spoiled, maybe.
And that's where, and then a lot of people are complaining that, well, the staff that work in restaurants, they're taking the street spots and not leaving them for visitors. Again, making it cheap, actually, or free at night works against you in terms of turning those street spaces are supposed to turn over for short-term parking, 1 hour, 2 hour parking.
But as long as it's green when they're coming by to see, then they don't know how long.
And they're not
paying
and
attention.
nobody's checking that after 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Okay, that's good.
Well, it's 6, but if you see the meter, I call it no matter if it's a man or a woman, I call it the meter maid. But when the meter maid goes by after they've chopped your tires, if they even still do that, because I heard there was a
No, they do. We get plenty of
yeah,
tickets.
because they were talking about that being an invasion of privacy. But once you see them go by, you know they're not coming back if it's 4 o'clock. They have too many other places in this town to go. So if you see them, just park. I pulled in right behind them once, and they've already gone by. They're not going to come back and swipe that because they don't care.
No.
They're just doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, well, I'll catch that next time around, maybe. But yeah, there's a whole lot of screwed up in this town, and I love this town to death. I do 7 podcasts about this town, but there are a lot of messed up stuff about
This
it.
sounds like it's going to be something good coming, something positive that the whole community can really get around.
Well, we're
And still
very
holding on
exci-
to history.
Right. We're very excited about it. I think that the important thing here is part of what we're doing with this effort to market it is to talk to lots of people and find out, get feedback, and really say what sounds good about this and what sounds like you've got questions so that we can really try to respond, because we and the developers all agreed that the worst thing we could do is build something that somebody thinks is a good idea, but ultimately would not be successful.
It's not
So-
necessarily a build it and they will come situation here. This is a research the hell out of it and then build something.
Well, and that's why we're trying to get the word out to the community and get feedback, is A, to figure out what's viable, but B, to figure out who's interested in doing something here. I mean, we're still actively really trying to lease that 27,000 square foot press level, although I will say we have a lot of very, very interesting hot leads, so to speak, but we're looking to the community to say, oh, okay, well, reach out to this person, or what about this? If it's viable and it's reasonable and it's logical, we really do want to find the highest and best use for that building, for sure. So we're also relying on the community to say, hey, I have an interest in doing X, Y, and Z.
I mean, I can think of any number of folks that would be a great spot for them to either start or to expand or even just move. Thinking of at least a couple of restaurants in particular that I know have been looking at downtown. I don't know that they've found something that really fits with their overall vision yet. But
Well,
I mean, this
and we
opens it
have a
up.
killer restaurant / bar / event space that's on the ground floor on Marshall. If you're walking past the building, it's in the 20s building side with kind of these like colonial archways. You'll see the rendering on the website. But we have a 3,500 square foot space that's ground level retail. That would be great restaurant, bar space as well. So
Are any of the breweries looking at the space as an adjunct?
I don't know that we've had specific conversations, but I think that the key here and the most successful food halls that we have seen as we've studied ones around the country is they're multifaceted and they're multi-use and they're in mixed-use developments. Usually there's a combination of, as I said, some really good top-quality local chefs. You mentioned restaurants looking to expand or looking for a downtown location. It could be somebody who's been successful in the suburbs and just wants a small outpost downtown. They may not offer their full menu. It may be a more limited,
Right.
maybe top 10 hits of what they offer, a way for them to kind of have that presence downtown. Event spaces, that's a huge component because you've got the built-in catering to support the event spaces right there. So that's a component. And then Nick mentioned the entertainment aspect of it. It's a big, in big cities, you could have a food hall 20, 30 stalls. You mentioned Faneuil Hall Marketplace in Boston. That probably has 80 stalls or more. Something that big would be too large for Winston-Salem. Winston maybe the small versions of these seem to maybe have 8 stalls. Common is 15, maybe to 20. but even that wouldn't necessarily fill that entire level. So we're looking to kind of pair. We want to make this a destination. So maybe it's a 10, 12 food stall, with top quality, along with bowling alley, billiards, darts, ping pong kind of entertainment
other
venue.
activity.
Yes. So that, it really becomes a destination.
I like it. I love the idea that we're creating another event space downtown as well.
Right.
I mean, that's on top of everything else. Yeah. Because I know at one point I was hearing rumors that the power plant was looking at a theater to come in, or a bowling alley, or any number of things that were looking to be some sort of entertainment inside that. So it's nice to see that that's still something that people are thinking about downtown.
Definitely. That's been a lot of... surprisingly, we really haven't had a whole lot of brewer interest, although we would love to have a brewery there. So if y'all have any breweries, send them our way. But we have had a lot more like entertainment-centric interests around this project, which is encouraging because Winston needs it.
Yeah.
One of the aspects, though, would be typically the way food halls work and the way you can help support the vendors is they don't each have to have an individual liquor license, so they don't actually sell alcohol at their stall, but you have one entity within the food hall that sells alcohol, and so people go get their food and then they go get their beverage, and so they're great example in Atlanta. Krog Street Market is a food hall that's been very successful there, and they have a local bottle shop operates the alcohol concession there as well. Nice. And so that kind of has been an important dynamic to kind of have that as an element within the food hall.
Well, it makes it a little more accessible for that startup kind of restaurant business to get in without having to worry about getting all those liquor licenses for themselves.
Right.
I like that component of it. It makes a lot of sense.
Just so you know, I was not ignoring you. I was actually sending an email to someone I know who is looking to start up a restaurant of sorts that has had trouble with that. And I just said they should give you guys a call. So I put the office number in your name.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure I will come across several more of those. So I will.
Tim knows everybody, so that was a big incentive of
There you go.
coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
I hate to kill the vibe. I just want to plug two people real quick that couldn't be here, which is Ashley Hooker, who works with Stuart at Lambert. She's been instrumental, along with Stuart, in kind of guiding the vision of the project and all that. I know she really wanted to be here, and if I didn't mention her, I may or may not get in trouble, so I'm mentioning her.
That's credit well deserved.
Yeah, and then Kane Wilkerson, who works with McCormick Realty. He's the property manager of the building. He's really kind of helped set things off as well. I know both of them really wanted to come, so I figured we should give them some credit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they want to come back, then come back. Because I'm guessing we're going to have more opportunities to hear as things are at a place where you can announce these folks have committed, this is a commitment. And what kind of time frame are we looking at before you expect to be up and running and everybody can come and celebrate?
I think we'll really start to feel things start to happen probably in the next 3 to 4 months, whether that be some sort of rollout on announcing kind of who we've been able to. I mean, we're at an interesting place with a couple different uses. So hopefully sometime in the next 3 to 4 months, we're either going to start to see construction maybe start on some of the office upfits. I mentioned the office uses that we have going there. You might see some sort of a more kind of formal announcement or rollout as it relates to the co-work space or the ground level retail space or the press level. So, I mean, you can't get anything done right now in less than 2 to 3 months anyway. So even if I had something in my pocket that tomorrow, like nothing's going to move, nothing's going to change. But hopefully we'll have something meaningful in the way of like announcements and press releases in the next 3 to 4 months.
Well, we hope that, because we like to fashion ourselves as a reputable food news outlet that we are on the press releases and come back and talk with us again.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear more as you're able to talk about it.
If you know of any podcasts that need 27,000 square feet to lease, that'd be great.
Yeah, okay. I will. I'm always looking for new podcasts, so I might.
Tim's a big guy, but he's not 27,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So we're thinking probably by the end of the year we'll have some more ideas about exactly who will be in there.
Yeah, this definitely. I mean, we're hot and heavy on this project. Like, we're running and gunning. We've probably had 6 meetings on this thing in the last 2 weeks. So again, like, we're doing everything we can to push this ball forward. There should be some substantial news, movement, activity over the course of the next few months, 3 to 4 months, that will keep pushing the project forward.
So
we were very deliberate about kind of our initial rollout, whatever phase 2 ends up being. So yeah, hopefully soon.
So phase 1 is really, this is what we intend to do. Phase 2 is we're waiting on people to say, wait, we're committed. Now we know exactly what construction we need to begin doing. Because I'm guessing each person would come with a different set of requirements of what they would want for the space.
Right.
That's absolutely correct. Yes.
Cool.
Was there anything else that you need known about this project that we haven't covered?
Nick mentioned the website, and I think that really is important, that anyone who's interested go there, and then please register your interest, whatever that might be. It might be from just learning more about it when we have more news, to potentially being a vendor. And this is how we're going to get the interest, because even when we're talking to these larger operators who might operate the entire venue, they want to know what the interest is. So if we can show, here are people that have, signed up that would be definitely interested in talking once terms are known, specific terms are known, then that will help us along.
So that's how Joe Q Public can jump in and be supportive of this project. Just say, yeah, we want to know what's happening.
That's right. SentinelCommons.com.
And you got to see these renderings, folks. I mean, my guess is that some of this exterior space is probably going to end up looking pretty much like how y'all have designed it so far.
That's the great thing these days about these photorealistic renderings. They can be pretty lifelike, and we've done enough feasibility and looked at what's possible. You'll see at street level there. We talked a lot about the courtyard, but along 5th Street and Marshall Street, where there's currently blank brick walls at street level, we're cutting in openings so that right from the street level you can look down and see all the activity that's happening within there. And really, it's kind of a building that's been presented somewhat an anonymous face to the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And our goal here is to open it up and really bring that life not only into the building, but also out onto the street. One of the things you'll see is some pretty dynamic color bands that applied. So those are bands that will actually be internally lit. So they'll have LED light, color-changing LED lighting within them. And we've been working with Norman Coates, that does the light project with School of the Arts, to help us design those. And so those could be changed for any event. So like this past week when the Black Theater Festival is in town, they would be purple. And so St. Patrick's Day, they would be green. So we're really trying to look at ways to animate the building.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. And the overall vision of what we're seeing here in these renderings, man, if this is what we see in Winston-Salem, what an asset. This will be something that the community is going to really get excited about.
We're trying to make it real.
Yeah, it does come down to who are those vendors going to be? What businesses come in to partner with y'all in this? But to see that space turned into this, yeah. Thank you. That's exciting.
Awesome. Well, to the three of you, thank you so very much for being here. And if I can think of any other people, I'm certainly going to send it your way. And it's an exciting project, and I am excited that it's coming because I believe it will kick in and be truly an awesome thing. So thank you guys for coming and sharing with us, because like I said, I've talked about it a couple times, but I had very little knowledge other than what Michael Hastings said, and I try not to steal everything he says. So I wanted to hear it from you guys. I mean, Michael's my friend, and I told him, I said, look, man, if somebody doesn't tell me something, I got to use your stuff. And he's like, just credit me, and I'm okay with that. So I'm okay. But
well, again, a lot of the info, SentinelCommons.com. If you guys have any questions, you can send them through the website. I'm Nick Gonzalez with Linville Team. For any leasing questions, feel free to reach out to me. But again, it's hopefully we've shed some light on what we intend to do with this project.
absolutely.
And we couldn't be more excited.
Well,
Awesome.
all this will be starting up and finishing up after Salem Parkway has been completed. So, yay! You won't have that issue
Yeah.
to plague you at all.
One less thing for people to complain about.
Exactly.
That'll just be parking.
And they'll be like, oh, now we have no reason to not go. We have to go downtown to check this out.
Other than I just feel like bitching. So let's do it. Seriously,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys for being here, and come back when there's more to talk about.
Super.
Will do.
Guys.
All right, again, thank you to Nick, Cole, and Stuart for being here to talk about Sentinel Commons. That's exciting.
I'm telling you, it's the renderings on this. I mean, if we get this, that's going to be a real shot in the arm for downtown.
Yeah. Yep. So now it's time for food holidays.
Yes. What's coming up this week? What
So-
insanity is out there?
So today is the 5th of August, and it's National Oyster Day.
Okay.
I love oysters, so I'm okay with that.
I'm oysters. I could take them or leave them. Probably leave them. So, if you got shrimp, I'll take that, and I'll give you my oysters.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm
And I-
okay with that.
And that's not mountain oysters, because I don't want those at all.
He sucked these hallballs.
No, thank you.
In 1891, on the 5th, in Leipzig, Germany, the Hotel Hof honored the first American Express traveler's check.
Oh, interesting.
So those are older than
leave home without them.
Right, those are older than the credit cards. Credit cards didn't come along until the 50s. So
Yeah.
but this is 1891 that American Express was doing traveler's checks. So.
Very cool.
In 1914, the first electric traffic lights were installed in Cleveland, Ohio at Euclid Avenue and East 105th Street.
And people immediately began running it.
Yes. I don't know what that is. Well, did you say that light? What's that for?
So green means go, red means stop, yellow means go faster.
Yes. Well, it is Cleveland, and you can't give them a whole bunch of, brain cells.
Well,
out
I mean,
there, so.
we'll just say the Cleveland Browns and just kind of leave it
Yeah,
there.
let's go with that. In 2008, IBM is granted a patent for storing customers' preference for paper or plastic bags on store customers' loyalty cards. This is from James Ehler, does this really deserve a patent?
I mean, really? Yeah, I don't know that that's a... They asked a question and kept the response.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was earth-shattering. And let's point out that was 11 years ago. It's not like this was in 1391.
You have specifically to ask for paper bags unless you're at Whole Foods now anyway.
Right.
And we actually take reusable bags. So
See, you're being good to the environment.
that's right. And usually I don't give two flips about the environment, but I try to do what I can anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
My son's getting ready to be, he's 17, so I'm trying to leave him something that he can deal with and let him ruin it. So we'll go with that. So the 6th of August is National Root Beer Float Day.
Oh,
Frank J.
it's been a long
Wisner.
time since I've had one of those.
Frank J. Wisner. You can get one at Zesto.
Sestos,
owner
yes.
of Cripple Creek Brewing in Colorado and manufacturer of Myers Avenue Red root beer, is said to have invented the Black Cow root beer float in 1893. I think I talked about the Black Cow with Steely Dan a few weeks back.
yeah.
You know, Black Cow is a root beer float. On the 6th in 1867, Sheldon Everett.
Sheldon?
Sheldon
Oh, no.
Everett of Ansonia, Connecticut, received a patent for a tea kettle.
Wow.
In 1889, Britain's most modern luxury hotel, the Savoy Hotel, opened in London with Cesar Ritz as the manager and Auguste Escoffier as the chef de cuisine, which that is a big deal because Ritz went on Ritz-Carlton, and Escoffier is probably one of the most famous French chefs ever. With 268 rooms, it was the first hotel in Britain lit entirely by electricity and with electric lifts, which is elevators for us Americans. Most of the rooms also had hot and cold running water. So this is 1889.
That was cutting edge at the time.
Yes, absolutely. In 2013, protesting low egg prices, French farmers began smashing thousands of eggs on the streets and squares of France's main poultry-producing region of Brittany. Overproduction and expensive renovations to meet European regulations on hen houses have resulted in farmers receiving lower prices for eggs. So they were not happy.
And
Damn
we know
you
what
and
eggs,
these eggs.
Eggs sitting out for a couple days in the sun is so pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
The whole city smells so good. It's like perfume.
And this is over on the Brittany is northwest of France, so you get at least to get some of the breezes and stuff off the Atlantic Ocean, but still.
Yeah. Yeah.
8/7 is National Raspberries and Cream Day.
Oh,
I can do it.
okay. I'm good with that.
In 1888, Theophilus Van Kennel of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, received a patent for the revolving door. In 2000,
Don't let it hit you in the butt.
I always have to, because I'm rather large, so I have to get Stephanie to go in first, and I just push it around because we tried once. Unless it's one of those humongous ones,
Yeah.
Both of us do not fit in there well. So, even as small as she is, I still take up the whole space. In 2013, the accountant in charge of keeping tabs of lunch money for the Rialto Unified School District in California was arrested on suspicion of embezzling from the school district's nutrition services department. Up to $3.1 million was reported missing over a period of 14 years.
Wow.
So that was just going on and on and on.
Wow. I hope they put them in a dark hole.
Yes.
I mean, you think about it, they're taking it from the kids.
I know.
That's pretty low.
It's one thing to be a thief. It's another thing to steal from kids.
Yeah.
When you're an adult. If you're another kid stealing from another kid, you're just a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, and as an adult, well, moniker still holds.
Yeah. On the 8th of August, it's National Frozen Custard Day.
Oh, I like me some frozen custard.
Yep, me too.
Much better than ice cream or ice milk.
Yes.
Custard, it's just so rich, so creamy.
You can get it at Wolfie's Custard there in
Wolfie?
Washington Park.
What is it about the park that they just seem to keep coming back up?
Because they're awesome.
It's not just because they're a sponsor of this show.
That's true. We would talk about them anyway.
Yeah, we would.
It's National, on the 8th, is National Zucchini Day, and sneak some zucchini on your neighbor's porch night.
What? I've never heard of that.
Don't put it out with your boots, Ted. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me my business, devil woman. It's poop again.
Wow. Put zucchini on your neighbor's porch day.
Yeah, night.
Supposed
to do it.
Yeah, do it at
Sneak
night.
some zucchini on your neighbor's porch.
So they're going to come out and step on it. I mean, come on. Just knock on the door and go, "Hey, neighbor, I've got some fresh zucchini for you. Here you go." I'd be like, wonderful. You got some squash in there, too, and maybe some onion. And I'll cut those up, a little balsamic, a little salt and pepper, and voila. Mm-hmm. Well, a little olive oil, too. I love that dish, actually. I'd do that. frequently.
Do you do it in a grill pan? Do you do it on the grill? What do you do?
I've done it on the grill. Love it on the grill. Works really well. A lot of times I'll just throw it in a wok.
Okay.
Give it a quick stir fry.
I know a lot of people will put it like in aluminum foil and wrap it in there and put the oil in there, cover it up, and put it on the grill at a low heat for an hour or so while you're doing other things. That just sits in there and sweats in its own juices and comes out really bright green, bright yellow, and translucent for the onions. And
I have done that, but I always put a little balsamic in there as well.
Oh yeah,
because I just love that flavor combination.
On the 8th, in 1899, Albert T. Marshall of Brockton, Massachusetts, received a patent for a refrigerator, an automatic refrigerating apparatus. It used anhydrous ammonia as a refrigerating medium. Makes me think that I don't want anything that was in that.
Yeah, the ammonium part of that in particular. What? No, that's ammonia. That would stink. But they were thinking about how to keep it cold.
That's right.
That's cool.
You go. That is cool.
That was real funny, right? That was real funny.
You are commodian.
Yes.
In 1905, Pillsbury Washburn Flour Mills Company registered Pillsbury's best trademark for flour in 1905, but it was first used in 1873. Back then, people just didn't worry too much about patents. They we'll just go.
Here, you got a patent.
Or registered trademarks. Just let it go. It's ours. We've been using it. Now it's like, I had it first.
Oh, yeah. Well, and when the internet first came out, people were running out and grabbing website addresses and waiting for big businesses
Squatting.
to figure out.
Yeah.
And actually, Supreme Court did come back on that one and said, no, you can't hold McDonald's hostage for their website or any other major retailer. If they can demonstrate that it should be theirs, then you've got to give it to them.
Yeah.
Which was the right thing to do.
I agree. On the 8th, in 1961, in Canada, a record 101-pound lake trout was caught in Lake Athabasca in Saskatchewan. 101 lake trout.
Man.
It's not in the big ocean thing, but a lake.
I don't think I've seen past like 10, 15 pounds. So to picture 100, that puppy had to be old.
Yeah, and it probably wasn't any good either. The bigger they are like that, I think that...
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. On the 9th, it's National Rice Pudding Day.
Oh, yum. I am so excited. Let me run out and find some place that I can get rice pudding.
I don't know that I've ever had rice.
Really?
pudding. Yeah.
I've had it. It's bland.
Yeah. Well, it's rice.
And it's just vanilla and sugar and some cream. And it's bland.
On the 9th, in 1982, Diet Coke was introduced.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I don't like Diet Coke. Never have.
Not a fan either.
Didn't like New Coke either. I prefer Old Coke.
I prefer Old Coke because it's old and so am I.
But it tastes better.
It does.
I've been a Coke Classic now.
So, okay, well, it's not just Coke. They don't even have the New Coke anymore. So, are you a Coke or like a Mexican Coke fan? Mexican Coke is cane sugar, whereas American Coke is corn syrup.
I don't know that I've had Mexican Coca-Cola.
A few years back, Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper and Pepsi were doing this little run on natural sugar, bringing back the old days. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that I preferred the Mountain Dew anyway, with sugar as opposed to the corn syrup, because it's too syrupy, it's runny, whereas the sugar was a little more bright, I thought. I could be wrong, but in my mouth it tasted more
and that's
like sugar and not processed crap.
Yeah. I'd love to taste it now. I doubt I could go find someplace that's got that.
Well, I think you can find the Mexican Cokes at Washington Perkin Provision Company.
Really?
I believe so.
You didn't set that up like that.
I did not, but that just happened to work out that way.
Okay, I'll have to try that out because I would like to taste the difference. I'm definitely a Coke, not a Pepsi guy. If it's like, do you have Coke products? Oh no, we have Pepsi. I'll take water.
Yes. I'll take a unsweetened tea. On the 10th of August, it's National S'mores Day.
Oh.
And there's nothing s'more to talk about that day. I mean, there's really nothing. That's all I got.
No
There's a lot of people born and died, but I try to get away from that because who cares?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do the things that actually happen. So
Yeah.
there was nothing s'more to talk about on that day. Yeah.
I'm in the process, actually, of building a fire pit. So I can
Have s'mores.
have some s'mores.
The 11th of August is National Raspberry Bomb Day. That's
Oh.
BOMBE Day.
That's 2 raspberry events in a single week.
Yeah, we had 2 raspberry events like last week or the week before, too.
It seems like maybe there's a vast raspberry wing conspiracy going on.
This is red states versus the blue states. It's raspberries, blueberries.
Yeah. And, 2 great tastes that taste great together.
That's true.
Yeah.
But a bomb, BOMBE Day.
What is a bomba?
It's a frozen treat that's kind of domed.
Yeah.
And I guess it's got raspberries. And so,
Oh.
did you see Diamonds Are Forever, the James Bond movie?
Yes.
That had the 2 jazz players that called each other by Mr. Whatever. And at the end, they had the bomb surprise. He says, "What's in it?" Well, that would ruin the surprise. But it was BOMBE surprise, but it was just fake and had a bomb in it. But that's it's bomb, not bomb.
Bomba.
Because there's an E at the end. Bomb. And on the 11th in 1874, Harry S. Parmalee of New Haven, Connecticut, patented the sprinkler head.
Wow.
In 1896, Harvey Hubble of Bridgeport, Connecticut, received a patent for an on-off pull-chain electric light socket for incandescent lamps. The design is still used today. And you have the pull chains. In 1903, Satoru Kato of Chicago, Illinois, was issued the first U.S. patent for instant coffee. It was coffee concentrate in the process of making same. The patent application was filed in 1901 when his Cato Coffee Company introduced the product at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo.
Instant coffee.
It's the devil.
No. You're right. It's the devil. No. No. The only use that I have found for instant coffee is when I'm making chocolate pudding pie to throw in a spoonful, and now it's a mocha pudding pie. It's
Mocha
fine.
pudding pie.
It works fine in that scenario. I have no other use for it.
Again, I will admit that I used to drink those international coffees.
Cappuccino delight.
Yes. We ate at that little cafe. What was the waiter's name? Jean-Luc. Yes, that's it.
Oh, those awfully sappy sweet commercials. Yeah, I remember that. Well, they thought that that's what women would drink. That was clearly the target market for that.
Yeah.
I really wanted those to be good.
I actually thought they were, but they weren't coffee. They were just a sweet coffee-like drink.
If you keep that in mind, then yes. But if you were looking for coffee, you're disappointed.
Yeah, no, it certainly was not coffee. So that's your food holidays and history for this week. Thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us
James.
chuckle, roll our eyes, and question humanity.
Which we do anyway.
Yeah, yes, we always do. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Podcast Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to The Less Desirables, The Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Department 5B, and Beeswax Vinyl and more.
Yes, the new podcast.
The brand new one, episode 1, actually episode 2 drops today.
Dropping. Check
Dropping
it out.
number 2. To find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, go to tldpodnetwork.com. You'll find all you need to know about them right there. We'd greatly appreciate it if you visited our sponsors, the Washington Perkin Provision Company.
Wait, they're a sponsor?
They are. Get out of town.
Wow, that's awesome.
301 West 4th Street, and you can find a little bit of everything there. Local fruits, veggies, meat, dairy from local sources. Papa Doc's Bionic Tonic Bingo Bango sodas are made here in Winston-Salem. Wolfie's
I gotta have some of
Custard.
that. I got to try the Bingo Bango.
I do too. They say it's really, really good. But Wolfie's Custard, since Custard Day is this week, Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk. On Instagram, they're Washington Perk_DTWS.
That stands for Downtown Winston-Salem, just in case you didn't figure that out.
This is so true. The Humblebee shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue at the west end of downtown.
Brittany!
You can go to Instagram right now and see and look up what the Humblebee shop is doing. Brittany is whipping up the batter on some delicious desserts, cakes, and muffins, be it regular, vegan, or gluten-free. The
Did you
shop.
see it? Did you see it?
I did not. What am I looking at?
She posted pictures of a chocolate chip cookie cake that, oh my God. Oh, for the true chocoholic, there's no way you could look at this and not feel like you need to be face first diving into this cake. It was just luscious with these big chocolate chip cookies on top, standing straight up on its edge, not just plopped on the top of it. Chocolate drizzled over it, the cookie dough. That's one, yes. Oh my God. How does she describe it there, Tim? You have it in front of you.
Here's a throwback to the ultimate chocolate chip cookie cake filled with edible cookie dough, dark chocolate chunks, vanilla bean, Swiss meringue, buttercream, and vanilla butter cake. I don't know what else you could possibly ask for in a cake, she says.
There is one other thing that you could ask for with that cake.
A spoon? Or
More. I want more. Give me more. Yeah, I'd probably lapse into a sugar coma, but, it would be worth it. Oh my God, that looked good. I mean, generally, when I see her stuff pop up, I always look because it's so creative and it's just so attractive. Her food is beautiful to look at. I mean, she was doing takeoffs on Harry Potter this past weekend. She did golden sneeches. So it was her macaroons that had little wings coming off of it. It was so cool. I love the way she approaches her craft.
She is awesome at it.
She really is. Go check out her Instagram. Look at these pictures, and then you're going to get in your car and go down there.
Well, Humblebee Shop wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, again, follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit thehumblebeeshoppa.co.
SHOPPE.co.
Well, once again, I want to thank Nick and...
yeah, that's great to hear that. Nick
and Cole and Stuart for being
really
here.
Really appreciate them.
So keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about that. Yes. And about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email if you do that. Or just send it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Instant Messengers. Any of those are great. On Facebook, we are The Man Who Ate the Town. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. And on Instagram, we are Man Who Ate the Town. My name is Tim.
My name is Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. I was expecting it that time. Until next time, thank you for reading and thank you for listening. Bon appetit. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.